Hi, everybody. We're back indoors. Sorry, Pete. Pete's here. Just out of the camera. I have to be quiet. Sometimes I do get a little yelly when I do the videos. I do know that. So Pete's here. He'll keep me in check. But anyway, I'm back indoors. We'll do an outdoor reading, perhaps. Actually, you know what? I'll be at my sister's tomorrow night. Yeah, I'll probably be at my sister's tomorrow night. We'll do it from her place. But tonight I'm at my mom's, and I went out to dinner with, I know you're going to watch Carol. I went out with my cousins, Carol and Jack, and yeah, we had a nice dinner. Clam cakes and chowder. It's a Rhode Island specialty. And awesome doughboys, which I've never had, with butterscotch and chocolate. Thanks, Jack, for introducing your Texas cousins these new delicacies. I love you guys. I had a great dinner. Thank you for having us. All right, so let's do the reading for tomorrow, Friday. It's the end of the week. So the energies were still pretty intense today. They should round off tomorrow, the square off between Jupiter at 29 degrees Aries and Mars at 29 degrees Leo. You know, the 29th degree of any zodiac sign, and I think it was in last night's reading where I mentioned this, is there are 30 degrees, 0 to 29. 0 is a degree, you know, it counts. So 0 to 29 in any zodiac sign. And the 29th degree is always the culmination of all the everything that sign is about, essentially. And you know, there can be this push to get everything done that you learned during the transit of that particular sign by the time you hit 29 and before you drop into 0 of the next degree. So Mars is at that 29th degree of Leo, which, you know, the Mars, you know, so we talked about I brought this up in yesterday's reading as well, about the masculine and the feminine, and I've said this several times, that we possess both energies, no matter what your gender or your orientation. We possess both of these energies in our being, and to bring them into balance and to express them, you know, and utilize them in the right moments. Like, you don't have to absolutely use both of them at every single moment, but sometimes you need more of one, sometimes you do need, you know, both at the same time. But Mars is the masculine principle. It's our drive, it's our go, it's our external, like the way we, you know, express ourselves, and, you know, it's the stuff that we, you know, do in this external, very, you know, outside of ourselves kind of way. It's our interactions. But, you know, so is also the feminine principle. You know, it's part of our interactions as well. But, you know, generally it's our drive, it's our go. It's like how we do our work, how we do our passion. It's our, our, kind of our motivation, if you will, right? And then, you know, this isn't just the sexual, you know what I mean? This is not just the, you know, the sexual male and the sexual female, although it certainly is that as well. And then the feminine is that more receptive energy, that more, you know, willing to, you know, to be open to things, to, you know, bring things in rather than putting things out. So, you know, this is what I mean when I talk about the masculine and the feminine energies. If those terms are unfamiliar to you, or you hadn't really thought about them in that way before. So that's kind of what I mean. And so Mars being at that 29th degree of Leo is that, you know, with that Martian, that masculine energy, it's like it really puts a lot of pressure on us to kind of like really, like, you know, do something with that energy before it moves into that 0 degree of Virgo, which is the next zodiac sign in the zodiacal wheel, if you will. So Mars being there, and then Jupiter's in retrograde, so it's retrograded and in, you know, back into Aquarius after having been in Pisces for 3 degrees. It went from 0 to 1 to 2. It didn't make it past that before it retrograded recently, and now it's ingressed back into Aquarius, where it had been since last year. Since the end, I think December of last year is when it went into Aquarius. So it had a really fast transit through Aquarius, and it will have an equally, if not faster, transit once it goes back into Pisces eventually, which I think is in December. I think around December 31st. So yeah, right around the New Year, right around New Year's. So at any rate, so and so you've got Jupiter with the planet of expansion, although it is in retrograde. So it's more about expanding our inner knowledge. It's been about expanding our spiritual life once it's in that more spiritual side of us, so to speak, the subconscious, calling the subconscious in its travel through Pisces, but now it's in Aquarius, where it's like, we're expanding what it means to, be independent yet part of a collective. That's part of that Aquarian energy. And so we're at that 29th degree of Aquarius for Jupiter. So, it's back in and expanding what that means for us internally. So there's a lot of pressure, and Leo is all about like expression and fire, and Mars is a fire element as well. It's the ruler of Aries. So it's a fire planet, if you will. Jupiter is too. It's the ruler of Sagittarius, and Sagittarius is another fire sign. So, that those fire elements are coming together at the 29th degrees of their respective signs. So that's some of the pressure that we're feeling right now. It's, the expression of our creativity all coming to a head, as well as the expression of, how do we do that? Being an Aquarius, how do we do that? How do we, express our uniqueness, our self-love, our heart? How do we maintain that and still be outwardly, working in the world? Not to mention the way our world has changed. There's lots of challenges, and there's lots of things to consider when those are the themes that are on the table, and those two themes are in tension, in square with one another. So that's some of the stuff that's been going on, and and so the reading came up, and yesterday was all about like looking back on, and it, we have this tendency to look back on our life and think it was a pile of crap, and that's never true. And I know it never is an absolute term, but I'm going to go there. I'm going to go there, and you know what? There is never a life that was wasted. Some people may look at you or may perceive that you have frittered away your life. You know what? We are each here to have particular experiences. And whether it outwardly appears as though we are, screwing up our lives, maybe that's what you were supposed to do. You're here to provide that contrast for other people. Your experience is unique. Be proud of who you are. And, does it mean, is it an excuse? Am I giving you a hall pass for being, does that an excuse for behavior that's hurtful to people? No. But that doesn't mean that we can't look back on our lives and say, oh, those things were not the greatest way for me to behave in my life. I did hurt a lot of people, and now I'm going to learn from that and do something different going forward, or at least start making those changes. But just because, this is how things were up to a certain point doesn't mean you can't start making those changes now. Yours truly. Always here for change. And yes, you can change. Yes, people can change. I have a friend who says that, a leopard never changes its spots. Bullshit. Sometimes you just grow into your spots. I love it thinking it that way. Brow! Okay, so all that serious talks aside, I love you guys. I hope you had, oh, I'm sorry, Pete. Did I prow too loud for you? He's jealous. He thinks I'm trying to, one-up him. For those of you who have never seen this before, Pete is my cat. He is my black kitty cat who I've had for 20 years. He's my sweet boy. And he travels with me everywhere. Yes, he does. Even at 20 years old. All right, so I'm back to using the Archangel Tarot deck. And again, I apologize. The lighting isn't spectacular in this room. You know what? Maybe I'll go out in the garage and get one of my dad's, utility lights or something. When I'm going to be doing this indoors, because I'm going to be here for a little while here in Rhode Island. Hometown state. I'm using the Archangel Tarot deck. All right, and I'm already feeling the energy switching over in me. So thanks for listening to the PSA. For those of you who, I'll put it in, I'll timestamp where I start doing the reading if you don't want to listen to the front end of it. There's a lovely reader who I followed for years who used to get kind of offended when people didn't listen to, like, you know, what she had to offer, you know, as a kind of a preamble to the reading. I thought they were great, what she had to say, but some people really gave her a lot of grief about that. I used to tell her, girl, it's your channel. You do what you want to do. But some people get impatient with that. They just want to go right to the reading. And so I'll timestamp it for you. So in case that's also true for you. But I don't care if you don't listen to the front end. I don't. I mean, I do. 2 of Michael. It would be better if you just make a decision. Overanalyzing a problem. Find a compromise. That's a 2 of Swords card. That's the card that just came up. And, yeah. I don't know if that was for me. Keep it out there to the side. See if it rolls into the reading. All right. Let's see what else we have. So that's a 2 of Swords. That's a card of decision. A card of needing to make a decision. A card of like getting to the point already. Which maybe was Archangel Jophiel. Oh, yeah, I feel like, yep, that message was strictly for me. We're going to put that back in the deck. And we will do the reading for Friday, July 30th. July 30th. 30 days has September, April, June, and November. I always have to say that to myself. 3 of Ariel. So a 3 of Pentacles in the traditional tarot. So again, this is the Archangel Tarot deck by Dorothy Virtue and Rodley Valentine. Doreen Virtue does not approve of the use of her cards anymore, but she did make them, and they are out there in the world, and I find them very helpful and useful, and a very gentle take and meditation on the energies that are around us. So I do use them. I love you, Doreen, and I love your cards, and I love that phase of your life. So like I said, don't look back at what you did and think that they were poor accomplishments. So do what you love. Yeah. So speaking of that, do what you love. A time of great personal growth in your career or artistic endeavors, working with others in a cooperative manner. So, you know, this is the 3 of Pentacles. So the 3 of Ariel in this deck is the 3 of Pentacles, which is that card of yeah, doing what you have, of fine craftsmanship, of like really honing your craft in a way that is not only you know, it's working with all aspects of yourself. It's a real integration. I'm picking up an integration of all parts of yourself. So maybe not necessarily even just working with others externally, but working with all parts of yourself to really express yourself in the most beautiful way possible. Yeah, again, like don't discard like parts of parts of yourself that you don't think are acceptable. Like you know, really shine, bring it all out. Be who you are. That message has been coming clear really, really strongly. Be authentic. Be who you are. You know, do the thing. You know, really be into it. Don't just kind of like be, you know, shy about what you do. Go for it. Be yourself. Be yourself, be yourself. Did you ever see that movie, Just Friends? Oh my God, with Ryan Reynolds and I think Amy Smart. I think that's her name. Oh my God, that was hilarious. Oh, you know who else is in that? Oh God, Anna. Oh, anyway, it's hilarious. Definitely go see it. Or go, you know, don't go see it. Just it's on like Netflix and stuff or whatever. But yeah, be yourself, and, you know, and communicate with others. Bring in resources if you don't have them. Like bring in the resources that you need, that kind of thing. But you know, do it with heart, do it with love. You know, and I love how in this deck, it's the pentacles are actually pink. Pink and green are colors of the heart chakra, and I'm just picking that up right now in the pentacles. Like anything that we want to do into the 3D should absolutely involve our heart. So you know, bring that kind of energy to what you're doing. You know, don't if you're really into something, don't kind of treat it as, you know how the teenagers want to do that, you know, or we as teenagers, I'm not going to bash any teenagers. And when you are in that age, you kind of, even if you're interested in something, you kind of pretend that you're not. Don't do that. Just be into it. Saves people time. All right, 2 more cards just came out. So green and pink are colors of the heart chakra. So really, you know, you're doing these things. These are expressions of the heart in the world. So again, a 7 of Ariel, you have invested wisely. We have another Pentacles card. These Pentacles cards came up a lot in the reading we did a couple of nights ago. So you have invested wisely. Have patience and wait for the harvest. Review your progress and make plans for your next endeavor. Nice. I love that. So you've planted wisely. And, you know, he has a book in his hand, almost kind of like a Bible or something like that. Interesting. Yeah, I'm just looking at that. Like, he has a Bible, so some kind of primer. And he almost looks as though he's going on a journey. So, you know, again, and I can't, I keep going back to, I know I keep kind of like almost sounding like a broken record with this, but the 7 of Pentacles, and in this deck, the 7 of Ariel, is so much about something about, you know, I keep, you know, like, getting the feeling, like I talked about it the other night, the adage of a watched pot never boils. So it's like once you've planted them, don't just keep like running, don't keep replanting or worrying about what you planted. Like, you have to kind of give that up to, you know, you have to give the plants the opportunity to germinate and grow on their own, rather than, you know, keep messing with the soil and, like, you know, yes, you have to like you do need to weed, but that's not something that you have to do like constantly. Like, maybe like every other day you're weeding around, you know, you're tending your garden, but you're not tending it to death. Like, you have to go and do the farmer doesn't sit there and like oversee his crops in a way that's just like, you know, like obsessive compulsive. You know, we can't obsess about what we've planted. We have to actually maybe step away, trust in God. You know, I'm noticing the Bible in his hand, and almost like a shepherd's staff, like he's being the shepherd. Even a shepherd watches his flock, but he's not all there like, you know, messing around with the sheep all the time. You know, he's you know, like tooling around with them. You know, he's not like, you know, nattering at them. He's, you know, he's there to watch them, but he's like, he might be reading a book, or he's looking at the landscape, or he's, you know, maybe even drawing something, or, you know, whatever, but he's doing other things. He's enjoying his life alongside the fact that he's planted a beautiful crop, and he's leaving the crop to God, you know, to the divine, to the higher power, to, you know, the life force that's actually within the seeds themselves. He's letting them grow the way they want. You know, he's tending, he's done a lot of work. He's done a lot of work. He's put his heart and soul into this. I mean, it's a very beautiful garden. Trust that what you've planted is going to be a thing of beauty. You know, you've put your heart and your soul in it. You know, you don't need to worry the thing to death. If you put that kind of energy in, trust in the energy that you put in. Trust in the energy of the plantings themselves, the life force, the life that you know, even when, you know, the Empress was pregnant, you know, obviously pregnant in yesterday's reading, she, you know, she's carrying that baby, but that baby is a life force of its own. You know, any child, any creation that we bring into the world, again, that 29th degree of Leo, right? That's creative energy, hugely creative energy. And, you know, any kind of life force that we bring, any kind of life that we bring in, it's something that we're creating. It's not a replica of us. Like, it has its own journey. It has its own path to follow. And you are interdependent, not codependent. We keep going back to that theme as well, right? The other one is the 7 of Michael. This is actually the 7 of Swords. There's a better course of action available to you. Lurking alone may not be the best answer. Review all the details. So again, don't be in isolation, and don't be working alone. You know, he's trusting in the divine. These two cards came out together, by the way. So the 7 of Michael is a 7 of Swords card. And the 7 of Swords energy, as we know, it's a card of isolation. It's a card of old patterning. It's habitual patterns that don't work anymore. You know, it's a worry energy, but it's like a theft, it's a card of lack, that kind of thing, almost along the lines of like a 4 of Pentacles or a 5 of Pentacles. You know, it's a card of lack, and it's a card of, like, you know. Yeah, you see in this card, this individual is trying to like go down a path, choosing a path that's obviously doesn't look very appealing. It looks like the more difficult path, and isolation, and by himself, and he's got a backpack on. He almost like seems like he's trying to run away from home. So, Archangel Michael is here but Archangel Michael's here to actually protect us and be like, you know what, this ain't the best way for you. So tap into divinity, check into your higher, wiser self. Ask God, bring in your spiritual team, ask friends before you start making a decision about something. We have 2 sevens here, and these are 2 very different energies. Which way do you want to go? And we've had the seven of cups coming up a lot lately too. So the 7 energies, this divine, this karmic energy is definitely running a theme through a lot of what we've been seeing lately. There are choices. And, this is also, I'm thinking, this is a very defensive, a hugely defensive. It's even more so than a 5 of Swords. Definitely more so than a 2 of Swords. But being out of defensive energy and, old thought patterns that don't serve us. Check the way you're talking to yourself. That's the other theme that's been coming up a lot lately, is check on the way we're talking to ourselves. Swords are thoughts, right? The swords are our thoughts, our philosophies, our belief systems, that kind of thing. And I don't think we want to be expressing them in a way that's going to, we don't want to be cutting up, he's got a staff. He doesn't have a sword. We don't want to be cutting up our crops, cutting into what we've planted and second guessing ourselves. That second guessing energy. Black Moon Lilith is also in Gemini now. So checking into those ways that we self-sabotage ourselves by loopy thinking, really loopy thinking, like looping thoughts, really thinking the worst of situations, and rather than, reviewing all the details, really looking at reality to see if we're really just running this isolationist kind of way, and we're only looking at things from a one-sided perspective. So check in on that, notice how you're talking to yourself, the way you talk to yourself, because the way you talk to yourself, although we generally do not treat other people the way we treat other people generally better than we treat ourselves. We are our own worst enemy kind of thing. The fact of the matter is that, the way we're talking to ourselves is still reflected into the way we treat other people. And it's certainly going to be the way what's reflected back to us. And if you don't like the way things are happening, guess what? Just check in on how the thought processes that you're conducting with yourself and the way you're treating yourself. Because guaranteed, if that's the way you're treating yourself, that's what's coming back to you. So, just check in. And the path to change is not a path of judgment. It's not judging those thoughts. It's starting to notice them. Just notice them. And when you notice them, and just kind of sit with them and let that wash through you. Just sit with it. You don't have to be judgmental about it. We can start to effect some change, get some more positive thoughts running, through our heads, start changing our story, start changing that narrative. And then the things around us start to change. Because that, what we're thinking about ourselves, how we treat ourselves, is how we insist on, we ask to be treated in the world. And we start treating other people better too. It's really interesting. Not telling you anything I haven't figured out for myself. A little late, but still figured it out. So again, never too late to change. So do we have one more card? One more card. One more card. Thank you, Archangel Michael. Thank you, Archangel Ariel. And all the archangels, all my guides. One more card for Friday, July 30th. Closing out the month. And here it is. I've got a 6 of Michael. Yes, it's the light at the end of the tunnel. Nice. So 6 of Swords is back down from the 7 of Swords. Breathe a sigh of relief and make new plans, relocation or travel. So yeah, once we realize that, those kinds of thoughts aren't going to work, we can pick up our thoughts and we can actually, find that we have changed the landscape. We've changed. It almost seems like we're in a whole entirely different world when we start to do that. This is that changing the world around you. This is essentially what I said. So I'm going to angle the camera down, and we could look at this a little more carefully. So you can look at them in total. Thank think everybody can see those there. Let me bring that in a little closer for everybody. So, oh, actually, so these guys were in the middle. So we have, you know, so being our authentic selves, like putting our heart and soul into everything that we do, and, you know, showing up as ourselves is going to absolutely keep us out of that kind of energy that we just were talking about, right? And and recognizing that the seeds that we have planted are, you know, we, instead of over worrying them, like this doing something like this, what I was talking about earlier with this card, which is, you know, letting the things that we have planted, you know, take their own course and let them grow on their own, not being overbearing, not basically micromanaging your own garden. Is the way of doing this, and that takes us out of this. This is the old energy. This is the kind of stuff that we were doing before that we're not doing any longer, especially if we're showing up with our heart and we're really showing up and doing the things that we love, and stopping doing things that we don't love. You know, there's also a stopping energy here, which is, you know, ceasing to do things that does not speak to our heart, and starting to do something different, and starting to plant some different seeds, working with our divine, higher and wiser self to shepherd things rather than manipulate things. This is manipulation energy. Right, so this choice is here. It really is. It's come down to, do we keep working here, or do we keep want to work, or we'd rather work in this kind of an arena? I think it's really a no-brainer. And oh, I love how there's a Lassie dog in there. Oh my God, looks like Brandy. That's my mother-in-law's favorite dog. Yeah, Border Collie. Border Collie is also very protective energy. Oh my God, so sweet. I never noticed he was in that. Oh my God. And so, yeah, you're really changing, you know, once we're working in a very different kind of energy and allowing things and having the patience to allow this to happen. This is also a card of, this is the patient route. This is the impatient route, right? Yeah, have patience and wait for the harvest, you know? And then the tide will turn, and then you have this kind of energy coming forward. But this takes time, this takes work to let things grow on their own, to tend them over time, to tend them with heart, you know, to plant, to really just continue to go for what you love and continue to work and create great foundations in your life, great craftsmanship, like really work towards something. This is that kind of energy. This is the energy of impatience, of wanting things yesterday. This is like, you know, Veruca Salt. I want it now, you know, they're way back at Willy Wonka. You know, she was a horrendous child, but hilarious character. I want it now, Daddy, I want it now. That's this. You know, we're not doing that anymore. And that's when we start to really affect that change. All right, the Goddess deck I've never drawn from this one. I think partly because I didn't get this deck until, I don't know, maybe last fall or something. The Goddess Power Oracle card deck I'm going to do from Colette Baron Reid. This is a great deck. I love this one. She did a lot of amazing research with this deck. Jenna Della Grottaglia is the artist for this. But Colette Baron Reid is the author, and yeah, a tremendous amount of research and good, amazing work. Again, work of heart. This Goddess Oracle card deck was truly a work of heart for her. And I'm real grateful for this deck and the energy that's behind it. She's got some really beautiful, the artwork is beautiful in it as well. I mean, it's just a really well-crafted deck. So I thank you so much, Colette Baron Reid, for, you know, gifting the world with this. But we'll bring the Goddesses out as a commentary on the reading for tomorrow, July 30th, 2021. What do we have? What do we have? Blue and pink. I see a lot of blue and pink. Again, that feminine, masculine energy, and that really is strongly here. Earth energy is feminine. This is a masculine energy. So, you know, don't get too tied up in your thoughts, or let that, you know, use that masculine energy wisely. Use it for leadership. Leadership. Shepherd. Leadership. You know? Craftsmanship. Be receptive in how you're being a leader. Be open to to collaborate and this is again collaboration rather than isolation is the theme of this card as opposed to the respectively the 3 of Ariel and the 7 of Michael. So then you want to combine those energies. Be receptive to the collaboration and to work with others, spiritual team especially if you are feeling like you're going down a really thorny, dark path. So what is the goddess energy that is there for us? Here we go. Eponia. Wise leadership. Beautiful. I love this goddess. So Epona, what do we have here? All right. We'll read her messages. All right. Wise leadership. Stepping into the world with a sense of surety and positive self-worth is what's called for now. Epona, the Celtic Roman horse goddess of leadership and guidance, offers you her wisdom. Know that you have what it takes to heed. You can do anything you place your attention on, and you'll find it easy to accomplish what's needed for your intentions to take form. Whether you are aware of this or not, the way you manage your accomplishments and even the way you handle failures and losses is modeling the way forward for others. That's what we were saying right at the beginning of this, right? Be true to who you are, and placing integrity and humility equal to enthusiasm makes you a wise leader indeed, one that the goddess Epona is so proud of. The alignment message. Being overly assertive and determined to take action is not in your favor at this time, right? That's obvious. If you feel afraid of making a mistake or worry that you will somehow compromise yourself or disappoint someone else, consider this a time to regroup and assess the details. Be patient. Check what's going on in reality. As the goddess Epona knows, not all paths are meant to be explored. Not all battles are meant to be fought. Not all opportunities will pan out. Beware of the tendency to overreach. You have come a long way, and the best leader knows when to take a break. Your task is to hold back and breathe deeply, trusting fully that when time comes to act, the goddess Epona will guide you. You don't want to act too soon out of fear and insecurity, or even by hubris, as you will surely slip and lose your stance. Take heart, for this is the perfect moment for a time out to see what the goddess Epona truly has for you. The divine has you safe and secure. You just need to wait. I hope you enjoyed that. I think this is a great reading. Like, share, subscribe, and I'll have this on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. And as I've been saying recently, is that you can hear this message whenever you need to hear it. It could be years from now, and maybe it's something that you need to hear. And we never know who needs to hear it. So if you heard it and there's something here for you, absolutely. Direct message me or email me at lisa.loring@gmail.com. That's lisa.loring@gmail.com if you want your own private reading. Thank you for those who send donations. I do appreciate that. And the link for that information will be in the description below. Yeah, this actually, if I might take Epona's advice. I might take a little break for the weekend, and we'll see. I don't know. We'll see if I come back. We'll see what's up. I might try to, like I said, do something at the beach or whatever. But I love you guys, and have a great day. Happy Friday.